Have you noticed a difference in your pupil or children's behaviour since the pandemic? If so, you're not alone. The A Loss for Life Schools programme is a primary school wellbeing programme which teaches kids from 3rd to 6th class the tools to manage their own minds at a very young age. Something I'm sure we all could have done with when we were in school. It's a free programme for schools to use, and it's A Loss for Life's mission to reach every child in Ireland with it. The programme is designed to equip children with the tools and skills to navigate the ups and downs of life by building emotional resilience, emotional literacy and emotional awareness. All you need is a screen, audio speakers and an internet connection. For more information on the A Loss for Life Schools programme, you can visit the A Loss for Life website or email the team directly at alflschools@alossforlife.com. If you would like to provide future generations in Ireland with the resources to be effective guardians of their own minds, then the A Loss for Life Schools programme is for you.
Jaomh go léir, and welcome to the Loaf of Bread GAA podcast, slicing into the GAA of the past, present and future. Join me, Jason Keelan, as we cut into the largest loaf of bread known to mankind. Hello, Diagwich, bonjour, ni hao, konnichiwa, guten tag and privyet to you all wherever you're listening in. What started as a message to 10 clubs has now expanded to more than 50 clubs globally from all continents. The journey through Loaf 2 GAA Global continues this week as we move on to our next destination in the GAA world. So come with me on the GAA journey of a lifetime and meet clubs from Canada to Argentina, South Africa to Gibraltar, Bermuda to the North Pole, New Zealand to Kuwait, Knoxville to Qatar, and literally everywhere in between. So grab the passports, grab the bags, it's time to go. On Slice 48, I chat to Sligo native Niamh and Derry man Chris to find out all about Japan GAA as they celebrate their 25th anniversary. We chat about the experiences with Hong Kong GAA, playing Singapore and the AGG tournaments, the Japanese all-you-can-drink, locals taking on the skills of the GAA world, Japan GAA in Croke Park in 2017, a Fair Play Award for a fair player, the beautiful Japanese GAA jersey, and of course some other things like Mick Konstantin's Japan GAA song, earthquakes, and how did the girls fare when going to climb Mt Fuji. But first, as always, let's take a trip across to Japan and find out about the beautiful land of the rising sun. Bon Sultas. Konnichiwa, Nihon I Yokoso. Welcome to Japan, alongside Iceland as my favourite place in the whole world. Today we are in the very, very eastern part of Asia at the Pacific Ocean, Sea of Japan, Sea of Okhotsk and East China Sea. 6,852 islands make up the Japanese archipelago, located in the Ring of Fire. Hokkaido is the main island of the 5 major ones, the others being Honshu, Shikoku, Kyushu and Okinawa. 125 million people or so inhabit the country, making it one of the most densely populated in the world. It wasn't until the 2nd century AD that the country is first mentioned, but evidence shows inhabitants have been around since before 30,000 BC. It wasn't until the 8th century that the name Japan came about. Before that, the name was Chinese named simply as Wa. Nippon is the official term today in Japanese, while Nihon is the everyday term. Land of the Rising Sun is the translation of the actual name. Moving to the feudal period in the Japanese history is where the famous warriors known as the samurai appeared. Modern day Japan is considered one of the most advanced technological areas in the world in terms of social progression and other areas, and it's feckin' class. In 1923, the city of Tokyo was hit by a huge earthquake. Fire spread quickly. This, combined with a subsequent fire, tornado and typhoon at the same time, meant the death toll was over 130,000, including thousands who died from getting stuck in the melted tarmac from the fire tornado. Japan also has a long history of wars with various nations, including China in the 1930s. However, perhaps the most significant moment in Japanese history occurred in 1941. In many ways, it could be argued that it changed the course of world history forever. Japan bombed the US Hawaiian-based Pearl Harbor during World War II. It helped push the US into the war and subsequently caused the change that began the end for Hitler and Germany. It would as a result lead to the first ever atomic bombs being dropped on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Like many places, Japan's history is way too long to explain here in one go, but here are a few things about Japan to know. Shoes off in the home is considered respectful. Tipping is not expected. Pointing is pretty rude. About 4/5 of Japan is covered in mountains, with Mt Fuji being the biggest. Shibuya Crossing in Tokyo is the busiest in the world, and I'll testify to that. Shinjuku Station is the busiest in the world also, and was incredibly fun trying to get out of it midnight on the night I landed in Tokyo. Japan really has everything, from the insanely amazing Tokyo city life right down to the likes of Shirakawa-go UNESCO village, and all the Shinkansen speed trains you can find. Some famous names in Japan include the likes of Marie Kondo and artist Yoko Ono, formerly wife of John Lennon, and Shigeru Miyamoto, the man who created this. Japan being famous for inventions is a major part of life, so here are just a few things that were invented in Japan. The rice cooker, the QR code, sushi, GPS, the selfie stick, emojis, the CD player, and 3D printing. On the sporting side, modern day tennis stars Naomi Osaka and Kai Nishikori, wrestler Tajiri and golfers Hideki Matsuyama, Shingo Katsuyama and Ryo Ishikawa are the key names. Footballers Shinji Kagawa, Shinjuki Nakamura, Kensuke Honda, Shinji Okazaki, Nakata, Minamino and Inamoto are just some of the main names in the history of the country's national team, many of whom have plied their trade in the Premier League or in Italy. Other sports in Japan that are famous are the likes of sumo, the national sport, baseball, figure skating, rugby, golf and racing, along with the martial arts. It would be unfair not to mention rugby union, given the immense rise of the cherry blossoms in recent times. In 2015, the world knew of the beginnings of the rise when they beat South Africa in the last moments in Brighton during the 2015 World Cup in England.
To steal the game for Japan, one of the most famous victories in the history of sport, I'd go as far as saying, not just in the game of rugby union.
Since then, not only have they continued to rise through the ranks, but in 2019 Japan hosted the Rugby World Cup and went on to beat Scotland, Ireland, Russia and Samoa before losing eventually to South Africa, who got revenge for the events of 2015. Japan GAA began in 1995 to help promote the GAA and Irish culture and links between the Irish and Japanese. Members of the team have come from many different nations and the local Japanese uptake has increased year on year. In fact, the ladies team has been predominantly all Japanese for quite a while. Japan has entered the Asian Games every year since 1996 and every year in the North Asian Gaelic Games since 2008, including hosting the event in 2010 and 2019, while also being involved in the World Games in 2019. In 2017, the Ladies Japan GAA team managed to play in Croke Park, an amazing feat and something which shows the rise in popularity of the game in Eastern Asia. And so to that end, let's meet Chris and Niamh and find out all about life in the land of the rising sun and a bit more about Japan GAA. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Not too bad. Niamh and Chris, is it?
It is, yeah.
How are things? How's all in Japan?
Yeah, good.
Good, yeah. Pretty miserable night here at the minute. But yeah, no, things are all good. I think the last time I was chatting to Jason, the state of emergency was still in force. That got lifted. Was it last week?
Yeah, 2 weeks. 1st of October, I think.
1st of October. So things are more or less open back up again. But even the whole time here, it's been pretty good. We haven't really had a lockdown like you guys have had in Ireland, or we've been pretty lucky with everything, to be honest.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you guys in Japan, in Tokyo or?
Tokyo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only the one club in Japan, and we have people that live in other parts of Japan would come down and train with us the odd time throughout the year, but 99% of the members are all in Tokyo.
Yeah, you have a decent way of travelling around anyway, as I learned myself. You're not short of good transport.
It's pretty handy, yeah. When was it you were out here?
It was the last the last trip just before COVID. So what was that, summer 2019?
Right for the rugby, were you? Or just before the rugby?
Or the rugby, yeah. So we were going from Japan and kind of finishing in the Ukraine, that area. So we went across, started Japan, Korea, and then it was Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, and then across to Moldova and finished in the Ukraine and came out from there. So, but Japan was something else. Like it was, yeah, just got to see so much of it, which was amazing as well. And then across to Korea afterwards, which was lovely too. We had Tokyo, something else, like coming into Shinjuku station, I think it was, at like near midnight, and there's still like a million people around you and 200 million exits to get out the building. It was interesting. Yeah. What brought you guys over in the first place, or?
Horrible place.
I got brought over with work actually. So I work for an Irish company out here.
Oh, very good. And where are you guys from originally, actually?
I'm from Sligo.
Oh, very good. What part of Sligo?
Out west Sligo in Screen. Not many know it now.
All right. No, we have a friend from Grange, and other people in Killooney or Clooney, whatever it's called as well. Yeah, that part. And what about you, Chris? Where are you from?
I'm from Derry, but sort of out in the sticks as well. North Derry. The club is Mitchell's Glenolm.
Oh yeah.
The Bradley's, O'Kane's, McNichols would have played for them if you know them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think me and Niamh were both the same. We both came to Asia first from via Hong Kong.
Yeah, we both played Hong Kong GAA as well.
Oh, did you? Oh yeah, they're supposed to come on in a few weeks as well, actually. So I'll have to throw your name out to them.
Yeah.
I was there for a year, and then that was a first stint in Asia. A year in Hong Kong, and then sort of got transferred with work over to Tokyo. I absolutely hated it for the first couple of months. It's a tough place to come if you don't speak any of the language. But 3.5 years later, and still don't speak any of the language, but got more used to it now. It's a great city. Tokyo was amazing. We've been really lucky as well through the pandemic. I think we've been much luckier than most of Europe and most of Asia as well, to be honest.
Yeah, it's I got a little bit of a sense of that, kind of just following stuff online. But what's the club like, or how long has it been going?
Well, actually, this year there was a bit of debate about it, but I think it was founded in '96. So I think some people thought it was '95, but I think the first few years was mostly just drinking pints and kicking balls around a few of the parks in Tokyo. But no, this year is actually the 25th anniversary of the club.
Oh, brilliant.
Good in some ways, but it's just a pity. Obviously, the Asian Games aren't on this year.
Yeah.
There's no competition, but hopefully next year that thing should open back up. It might be in a smaller scale, but we'll be able to sort of celebrate it more. But yeah, this is the 25th anniversary of the club. It was founded back in '96 by a few guys. I think I just want to name drop. I've been told anyway. A few of them I've met. Mick Shannon, who's now in Thailand. Peter Ryan, who's in New Zealand, ambassador for Ireland, and one of our own, Mike Reardon, Limerick man. He's still in Tokyo. I think they were, maybe not officially, but they were three of the guys that helped set up the club back in the day.
I knew it was going for a while, all right, because whoever runs your Instagram or other things have put up some of the old photos over the past couple of months. Yeah. So it's been cool. It's been cool seeing the retro jerseys, we'll call them. I didn't expect to see many retro jerseys outside of Ireland, but you've definitely got some proper retro ones. What's the membership like at the moment? Then how many have you got, give or take?
I think we have around 50 active members at the moment.
Okay.
50 of us went to the last 8 Gaelic games in KL. So yeah, we had like 2 men's teams, 2 women's teams.
Very good. And is it a mix of Irish and any of the locals playing?
The girls is almost, I'd say, probably 90% Japanese or
right.
more. Yeah, so almost all Japanese. And then the men's team would be actually mostly Irish. So it's quite different the way it's worked out. But yeah, so there's a lot of the Japanese girls, and a lot of them have been playing, I'd say, for 10 or 15 years.
Wow.
They're some of the original ones, yeah. Yeah,
and
no, it's very good.
How did they get into it in the first place? What attracted them to it, I wonder?
I actually don't know how the girls' team got so popular, but some of the girls, like Emily, I think she's the treasurer for the ACB, like she's been, or secretary for the ACB. She's been playing for years. I think she's very good for getting members and getting all the girls coming down. And there's been loads of players like that over the years just keep bringing down their friends. But yeah, some of the girls have been playing more than or longer than I have.
Okay. She's not the girl who runs the Twitter page thing, is it? No, who the girl who seems to be on Twitter all the time, who
Oh, Nauko. No,
yeah.
I think Nauko joined maybe 4 years ago. She's the vice chair for the club at the moment, and yeah, she's very good. She's been on to like Cork GAA ladies, and she's been chatting to the ones in Ireland. Yeah, she's been very good on Twitter. Actually, she's getting us up and running.
Yeah, she seems a good crack because it's mad scrolling through Twitter and seeing all this Japanese characters and then just GAA thrown in the middle of it. It's a bit kind of surreal reading it. Yeah, she seems a good crack. And what about on the men's side then, Chris?
That's what's one of the things picking up. That I say we're one of the few clubs that are fully bilingual. Like everything, any message that goes into the club chat or online, it always has to be translated. That was a big thing that was brought up in a few of the AGMs, just to start trying to broaden our scope to get new members in, because I'd say we are close to 50-50 in terms of Japanese and Irish and nationality, if not more, to be honest. And I think like back in I didn't know the story, I've only been here about 3 years, but a few of the girls were saying back in 2011 after the massive earthquake, obviously there was a massive exodus of expats and Irish in Tokyo. It was actually a few of the local girls that kept the club going, otherwise it would have probably folded. There were really low numbers. It was just the local girls from Tokyo that kept the club from sort of folding, but that was really good as well. But the guys, it's mostly Irish. I mean, we've obviously other nationality as well, but we've a few Japanese guys who honestly I don't know where they picked up, but a couple of who are honestly unbelievable. Like, they were absolutely brilliant, just very athletic. I mean, sports is a massive thing here in Japan anyway, but there are a couple of guys who would threaten on a few county teams at home anyway.
Okay. How do they get roped into it in the first place? Because like it's not like a tiny little town, where they just walk by the local park and saw you kicking a ball.
I don't know. I think it's just word of mouth. Like, we have quite a few of the players that are in sort of international schools or a few of the local schools.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's spread word of mouth through that, and obviously then they bring friends down. And I think sport one of the things in Tokyo, especially, is playing facilities. It's not the most accessible. It's quite expensive to get sort of housing facilities. So we're sort of renting pitches on a month-to-month basis. So we're probably one of the few sports that anyone can come down to of any sort of level, ability, age. So we sort of take anyone. We're always looking for new numbers and new players. So I think it was just quite accessible, and the girls obviously putting things out in Japanese and English, that kind of thing helps. So yeah, it's just started from that. And then also, I think we've been lucky the last few years. Obviously, the pandemic didn't help, but having the World Cup spread, I spoke to so many Irish that were over here who couldn't believe that Japan had a GAA club. It was just like, and with quite popular shirts as well. You don't know if you can see. A lot of people have sort of picked up on that, and we've been fortunate with that. And then obviously the Olympics this year, with a lot of Irish coming over. So it's all that word of mouth, I suppose, is the main reasons why it's become so popular.
Yes, O'Neill's had your jersey when they got in touch with me wanting to run it in part of this online thing they wanted to do. So apparently it gained a lot of traction from that. And the same at the moment, I'm kind of running another of my own one on the stories, and apparently the jerseys have been picked up before Christmas. So it's probably not the worst time to stick it up on Instagram as well. But yeah, it is a lovely jersey. Do you know who came up with the idea I'm fascinated by some of the logos and crests I've seen around the world. Anyone know who came up with your one, or is it the original from the 90s?
I think it's the original crest, isn't it?
I
it's
think
the only,
so, yeah.
It's the only crest I've ever seen, but they have like all the sakura flowers on it the last few years. Like, they've really been improving the jerseys the last few years. They're lovely, like proper Japanese jerseys now.
It looks class. Yeah, I really have to get my hands on one over Christmas, hopefully. So, and you're
sent over as well, and thanks for promoting the jersey as well on your post. We've definitely had a lot of information about it. One thing, that's the trick we missed out on during the rugby. The amount of people, mostly were pretty pissed off, but the amount of people that come up to us and was looking to buy jerseys was ridiculous. Yeah. We should have had a little bash just sitting in the Irish pubs here, ready to go. I think I actually drunkenly sold my jersey for was it 1,000 yen, which is, I think I was pretty drunk and realised was the equivalent of about €6-7.
Yeah.
The cost at least, I think, was it €35? But in my head, I thought it was a great deal, and then woke up the next day, couldn't find my shirt until someone had told me that I'd sold it to, can't even remember where the guy was from. He was just didn't even fit in. This guy was massive, like it barely.
Your name's on the back.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Your name's on it, brilliant.
Yeah.
We'll have to put out a call to the person who bought Chris's jersey. So if you've got it, can you please let us know that you have it and you got the steal of the century from it? So
somewhere, I think,
post it back to Tokyo.
Yeah, send it back to Tokyo. Yeah, you were talking about the training facilities and stuff. I was going to ask that because obviously Tokyo been so packed, I suppose the only word to describe it. Are you guys on school pitches or local parks, or what is the kind of month by month that you do rent out?
We have a bit of a mix at the moment. So last year it was all local parks. So you just do a lottery and you get your time slots. But this year we've actually managed to get into a couple of primary schools as well. And those primary schools are also interested in getting us in to do like PE coaching or things like that. So we're trying to get the kids involved in this year, next year. So we've actually really be able to get into the primary schools because it's a lot cheaper facilities and it's just in better locations, whereas the local parks tend to be kind of further out.
Yeah, there's surely a rake of Irish people teaching English in the schools there. Surely you could knock in with one or two of them.
Yeah, we need to get in touch with a few of them now to get a few more schools on the list, actually.
Yeah, there's always, you guaranteed one thing is there's always Irish people teaching English in most countries outside of Ireland, so you find one or two somewhere, I'm sure. So, and what about on the pitch then? What's the competitiveness been like? I know with COVID and stuff, it's kind of been wrecked a little bit, but even before that or of late, what's it been like taking on other teams?
Yeah, that's the thing. We've almost had there's been no competitions. We can't really leave, to be honest. We couldn't leave Japan this year, or no one really has. So I think, and this was the same last year. We had no competitions.
Yeah.
The last tournament we had was in KL at the AGGs in Malaysia on 2019. Yeah, so we had awful preparation for that. Because obviously it was literally, I think, a couple of weeks after the World Cup ended. So we had a very liquid diet for I think maybe it was at that 6 weeks. That was absolute chaos. And traveling over Japan, full Irish team, it was the best couple of months crack. But obviously that would usually have been our heavy intent. We've been training twice a week in preparation for the AGGs. So we didn't have a great sort of preparation for that, but we went out and I think we had two men's teams, 2 women's teams.
Yeah.
And the lads teams actually won the intermediate for I think the first time in quite a few years. Which is quite a big upset. Like we usually would have been thereabouts, but we hadn't won in a long time apparently. I think was it extra time in the semi-final, won by a point, extra time in the final and won by a point. We just got over the line. It was
very tough to watch.
And I think that the ladies won as well. The ladies won as well, so it was a really successful.
Yeah, we had a great year.
And honestly, some of the Japanese ladies, probably even more than the men, are honestly brilliant.
Oh, they'd walk onto a county team, no bother at home.
It's incredible.
They're amazing players.
I'd love to bring them. Love to bring some of them over here. You haven't got over, obviously, for the World Games in 2019. You didn't make it this far, did you?
They actually did, yeah. The Japan got over, so they had a team in it.
Asian Cranes, I think.
Asian Cranes. Yeah. There was loads of them representing Japan, which was great.
That was in Waterford, and then
Are you coming back in 2 years' time in 2023 when it's on again?
Hopefully
things, surely to God, things are better by then, you would think.
Yeah, we'd have a lot of interest. Maybe we'll get a team over.
Yeah, I know there's been meetings lately between, I know the American board were over, the Canadian board were here, and they've all said it's 2023. So I don't think it's been announced yet officially, but it is basically. It
is, yeah. Where is it? Where did you say it is going to be held? I heard Derry. It was but
I heard Derry as well, but I don't know if that's true. There's no like official announcement or anything like that. They just said 2023 is what the target is, and that's what they've all sort of agreed on. So Derry would be class. That would be a great spot to go up for as well.
Brilliant. I'd have to try and get home if it was in Derry. Yeah. And the other thing that is quite cool for the ladies teams is one of the guys that used to be here, Porrick McGrath. He's now be quite one of the stalwarts and sort of an Asian GAA. I think he's now in Melbourne, but he helped get the ladies actually played in the All-Ireland semi-final in 2017 against DCU. It was an international ladies team. It was like an exhibition match at halftime in Croke Park.
Oh.
I think he reffed the game that day as well, but I don't think I was here then, or I hadn't heard about it until it was last year. Some of the pictures are on the Instagram as well. That was really cool. I think it was obviously it was a full house that day in Croke Park. I can't remember who was playing. You might know.
Is this the ladies' finals? Is it?
This was the men's final. It was a full house in Croker. It was the semi-final. Someone told me he was playing the other day, but I cannot remember. 2017 All-Ireland semi-final, yeah.
It was Dublin was in one of them anyway.
The pictures, it was definitely a full house. It was absolutely packed.
Yeah, because I was definitely at a lot of games that season. I remember I was surely at it at some point, but I definitely wasn't at that one because I would distinctly remember seeing that. Yeah.
The Japanese headbands with the white and obviously the red.
The rising sun.
The rising sun. Yeah. So cool. I'll send you honest a few of the pictures. Yeah.
I would have gone full Japanese for that because I've got Japanese flag and everything in my classroom, so I would have gone full Japanese if I known they were playing. Yeah.
It was very, very, very cool.
Yeah, that's class. I'll have to check that one out for sure. And what's it for the future? I suppose, who are you hoping to see on the pitch in future years? Is Hong Kong and the Korean teams, any of those your major rivals, or is it further afield?
Singapore are always very, very strong, or else the Korean ladies team in Seoul is very, very good. Almost all of their players, I think, are local players as well, and they're just incredible. So we come up against them quite a lot. But Hong Kong, Singapore, Korea, they're all very, very strong, especially for the ladies anyway.
Yeah, Singapore have come up a few times actually, and Seoul are on in about an hour and a half after you guys. So I'll ask them. I'll ask them all about it. So, is it the same for the men then, Chris? Or
yeah, Seoul's obviously. I think just because it's Seoul and Japan, or Korea and Japan, they're quite, in terms of geographically, quite close. So they don't play, and we know quite a lot of those guys as well. The North Asian games as well. It will be us and them. Will be two of the main teams. Singapore, just for the fact they've just so many numbers, everyone wants to beat them. Like you could have games, or sometimes you could be playing for Singapore F or something. It's a bit ridiculous. They're always so strong. They've half the physios in Ireland seem to end up out there. They're always very good. After great lads as well.
Okay.
But sure, there's teams popping up all over Asia as well. I feel like in China they'll have. They could have 20 clubs in China in a few years' time. They're definitely popping up. I know you've had a few of the guys on. Shunde and
Shenzhen got a new one lately as well, didn't they?
Yeah. Shanghai as well are coming on soon, and then there's obviously Beijing. There's other teams then that I've only kind of uncovered through the lads in Shunde and Suzhou and stuff that I didn't know about. So yeah, there's enough for a full Chinese league out there anyway. And probably at all levels as well, senior, junior, intermediate. I'd say there's enough for the whole lot of them. Even like Shunde, who claim to be like the smallest club in the world, they probably still have enough to field a couple of teams at this stage. So Singapore is a good one. They've come up a few times, and I've been to Singapore. I didn't maybe expect their name to appear so often, but every Asian team seems to be gunning for Singapore, whatever it is about them. So they're on tonight as well. So I'll ask them later on about that.
Yeah, I think it's just that they've just so many numbers. It's a jealous thing because obviously here we always quite a few numbers, but it does fluctuate heavily. I mean, it's but usually you have quite a few. Your best players will be leaving. You would usually have an influx of people coming in. Obviously, with the pandemic, it's been more mostly people leaving, so we have missed out on a lot of new people coming. But slowly, I think, and into the first half of next year, hopefully that'll change. The borders will open up, and they'll be starting to grant new visas. Because we could definitely do with a few sort of new blood coming in, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'd love to go back again. It's people always ask like, what's your favorite places, and it's always Japan, Iceland, Burma, or Myanmar are my three favorite places, definitely. So yeah, I'd love to go back again. I hate flying, but I do it just to go back again, just to see Tokyo and Japan once more. So what's the crack like off the pitch then? What's a good night out like with the Japan gang?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'll introduce Niamh there. Niamh's our
Yeah, no, we do have a very good nights out, I must say. We have a couple of Irish bars that's great here, so we do a lot of the celebrations there, and we can always get like a nami hodais, like the all you can drink deal. So as soon as we come off the training pitch or if we have some games, we'll go straight for an all you can drink and get a bit of food as well. But yeah, we spent a lot of our time in Roppongi. So it's like the main kind of expat place to go out here. But yeah, we do like a little pub crawl up and down the streets, and yeah, we get a good crowd. Everyone is very fond of the pints here.
Yeah, the Japanese, I was kind of surprised that when it came out of Shinjuku Station that there's just a line of like a little outdoor bars and just all business people just sitting there drinking at night. I didn't realize that was part of the culture. Are the Japanese good to bring out with the Irish then?
Yeah, no, they're great, and they love us as well. Like we all get chatting about Ireland, and especially during the World Cup, everyone was a big fan of all the Irish fans that come over. So they're always happy to know that we're from Ireland, and yeah, they'll always have drinks with us or a few shots.
Brilliant.
They're good.
I like the sound of the good crack, and I suppose sticking with that, you guys are sponsored by Magners, which is probably a good help as well. So what's the sponsorship like with them or anybody else?
It's sort of indirectly. It was actually a company, Icon Europubs. It was an Irish guy who owned it. I think he's exited the company now, but he's still involved. They import a certain, I think Magners, Belfast Lager, a few different beers, that kind of thing, into Japan. So we got involved with them. When we changed the jerseys, they sponsored that. Before that, we had like I don't actually know how it was, a really good sponsor with the Toyoko Inn. They're like a massive chain of like hotels here. So we're sort of looking for new sponsors at the minute as well. But yeah, we have Icon Europubs, Magners, and a couple of the Irish bars in Tokyo. The main ones will be the Crack in Akasaka, we should give a shout out to.
Great name.
Yeah, I know, typical. Ed there is really good for supporting us, and the other one is one of the actual few Irish-owned actual Irish bars in Japan. There's quite a few Irish bars, but not many are actually Irish-owned.
Yeah.
Is Anne Solis in Yogi, and Will, he's a Tipperary man.
Okay.
Bit of a gobshite, but he's really good as well at supporting as well. They're sort of the main ones that I think we had to sort of name drop before I forget.
Yeah, and how most important part is how is that bar, the Crack, or on Crack? How are they spelling Crack?
The good way.
The good way.
The good way. Okay, that's all right.
Shocking spelling mistakes over here.
But,
yeah. Horrendous. I'm sure you noticed it when you were out here.
Yeah, I did plenty of them. Yeah, particularly on the toilet signs, they were the translations were interesting at the best of times. So, and yeah. Do you guys get the Sunday game and all that out there? What's it like with time difference?
Yeah, we're actually really lucky. It's actually one of the British bars will always show up for us because they're usually quite late here. They'll be like between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. kickoff usually. But no, we've actually been really lucky. So one of the lads in our team here, Finn, he always gets it sorted for us. So we just have the GAA goal here, so all the players then just come down and watch it together.
Okay. And on the fundraising side, I know you've got Magners and stuff. Do you have to do any other fundraising, or are you okay with the sponsors you have?
Yeah, we do quite a lot of raffles, although obviously not many this year with COVID. But yeah, we did a good few raffles just in the Irish bar if we're out for the night or if there's something on. Or we've done a good few charity quizzes as well, where we donate, well, to be fair, pretty all the proceeds to charity. Okay. Or we've done a few just like fun runs. But yeah, mostly raffles and quizzes at the moment.
Yeah, I think we have to, after we lost that main sponsor, and then also we got Icon, but that's kind of ended that sponsorship. We have to be sort of a bit more self-sufficient, which is obviously tougher now with less people coming down. I think the Irish aren't so bad, but obviously the Japanese, it's just the culture of the pandemic. They have stayed away almost completely. They almost never come down, which you can understand. I think they don't want the elderly population stuff here. It's just a different mindset. So we have obviously really struggled for numbers coming down to training this year. Hopefully once things open up, that will change. So obviously with that, we're not getting the same membership fees coming in. So yeah, hopefully now if there's any new Irish tech companies or anything like that coming out, we're always looking for new sponsors. Definitely. Give us
and anyone listening who's going out to Japan, just bring some money with you when you're going.
Get it out to your followers there, please. We're always looking for new ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, anyone listening, we need sponsors in Japan. And what about recruiting them when things do get back? Is it relying on the kind of word of mouth, or have you anything that you think you could do to encourage people? Is it like, here, come train and we'll give you a pint kind of thing, or?
It's Niamh's role as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be giving out free pints, but yeah, we've been lucky, like we can send out messages to like the embassy here, and they might share saying that we've like training starting up again for the year, or we had a few flyers and stuff in the Irish bars just for people going in. But I'd say it is mostly word of mouth. We really encourage everyone to bring down their friends at the start of the year. So we have a couple of lads in university, and there's a couple of people we met here that was just like over working for like the World Cup or working for the Olympics that had colleagues. So people started coming down that way.
And what about contact with Croke Park? Do you hear much from them in general, or do you have to get in touch with them when you need stuff?
Not really. Most of the ACB, the Asian County Board here, is really, really good. And obviously we have the close connection of Emily Ward. She's the secretary. She lives in sort of Hakuba or Nagano. It's a bit out of Tokyo, but obviously really good having that connection. Everything comes through her, and obviously anything that's mentioned or we can go through her. And the Asian County Board are very, very good in terms of funding and grants. So I mean, we got a grant this year. So Croke Park's been good with regards to that. In terms of membership, we do have we have a line. It's like the Japanese WhatsApp. We have about 200 people in there. We always say as well, if you're new to Japan, like it's quite a hard place to integrate. I mean, I think it takes at least 3 months. It's really tough, especially if you don't speak the language. So we're quite a welcoming club. We have obviously English, Japanese speakers. If you land here, we're a great sort of base to get to meet people, like especially the social aspect. There's always pints involved, just things like that. Like it's a really good way to meet new people when you first land here, because Tokyo, especially if you are from the back end of Ireland somewhere, it's pretty intimidating how big the city is. And as you said, like Shinjuku Station, I would actually, if I have to go somewhere near there, I'll go to the station before or after it, just to avoid going through that station still. And I've been here for 3 years. It's that bad. Like it's horrendous.
People will come out with an anxiety disorder after walking through that station, because it's just. Even at midnight, it was like, which exit do we go out? And then you're coming back in, you're like, oh God. I did like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, I am actually going to get lost inside this thing.
And they always say like the Irish drink a lot, but Jesus, the Japanese love to drink.
Yeah.
Like the Niamh was talking about there with the Nami Hodai, like that. To people that don't know what that is you pay a certain amount of money, maybe usually what 4,000
yen for 2 hours. So 20
quid.
Less than €20 for 2 hours, and like it is all you can drink.
Unlimited alcohol, and it's not a case you need to finish your glass to refill. Some bars will carry it to you. So people finish work, do that for 3 hours, hammer the drink, and then as you say, you're coming out of the station. It's like The Walking Dead. People just follow. There's a few Instagram pages if you want to sort of check out. It's Sleeping Tokyo is a very good one. What's the other one?
Shibuya
Meltdown.
Yeah, Shibuya Meltdown. It's a great one.
To get over the Irish stereotype of people drinking a lot, the Japanese definitely take that from us, 100%.
Yeah. And what's your experience crossing the road up at, Shibuya or wherever it is, isn't it? Crossing the road there. That's as much fun, I think, as coming out of the station.
That's crazy, yeah.
It's a bit chaotic, I must say. But yeah.
Never really gets old. There's just some parts of things like Tokyo. I do think after a couple of years living here, it does become smaller. You do get obviously used to it, but yeah, that first time seeing that or places in Tokyo, it's a bit mesmerizing. Like it is a bit tough to get used to.
Yeah,
depending on where you're coming from.
It was even weirder as well when 6 people went past through the crossing in Super Mario Kart, dressed as Super Mario Kart. that was even more interesting, and I was very jealous that I hadn't organised that myself. So. Yeah, it's my reason to go back, is I need to dress up as Luigi and just go through Tokyo on a little Super Mario Kart. So you haven't done that yet, have you?
It's actually it's gone now, I think.
No.
They were they like trademarking Nintendo or something?
Basically Nintendo put a lawsuit on them basically for using their logos, and they hadn't permission to do it, so now it's been banned. Yeah. But also highly dangerous as well. Yeah,
they're in with all the cars, like on the street, overtaking cars.
Highly, highly fun.
Oh yeah, great crack. I was raising it to get to do it.
Yeah. Could I just change the name to like Funtendo or something instead, and just
they did that, and they changed the costumes, but Tokyo then banned it. I think you can do it in Osaka.
You can do it in Osaka. Yeah.
Osaka's another great spot.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're a bit more lawless down there, aren't they? I discovered that. Yeah.
It's sort of like Cork and Dublin. A few more knackers.
I came out of the station right in Osaka, and I was like, this feels a little bit different to Tokyo. Yeah. So
Tokyo was just a bit more relaxed and a bit more loose.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And what about then for yourselves, sort of putting you on the spot a little bit before the quick fire kind of questions? What's been your highlights on the pitch with the club?
For me, it was definitely the AGGs. I've never had a better weekend in my whole life. It was great as well because I just moved here from Hong Kong. So like I was seeing people I played with in Hong Kong and people I played against in like the China games and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
For my company, there's a lot of us working in Asia. So like started meeting up with people I'd worked with in Ireland a couple of years ago, and like everyone's just on the pitch playing with these random countries. Like it was just very surreal. Yeah, it was just amazing. Such a community thing, especially in Asia. Like when you're going to even the drinks after, like everyone's just so happy. Everyone's around Irish people. Like it's just, I don't know, so nice.
And what's your position on the pitch, I should ask as well, Niamh? Where do you normally end up playing?
I'd happily be a sub now if that was the option. I'd happily sit in goal or be in full forward now. The least amount of is where I like to go.
You haven't gone full on like we're a drinking club with a GAA problem quite yet, but
Oh no, we do take it. Yes. But obviously with the competitions this year, there's been more points.
Yeah, I do like organising the Nami Hodais, I must say. Skip the train, meet them and turn over.
That's good, yes. And Chris, what's your highlight so far, and whereabouts are you on the pitch?
Yeah, definitely. Again, it's probably that AGGs. I think the 2 years before that, I played with Hong Kong, and I don't think we did very well. And then the year after that, we got to the semi-final, I think. And then that was at 2019 after the World Cup, the rugby. Winning that with the lads here was brilliant, and it was just great crack as well. Like the AGG is phenomenal. I don't know, have you been out to one yet?
No, I haven't. No, not been to any tournament, but yeah, I've been invited to plenty. I was invited to the Nordic ones next week. I'm not around, and I was invited to. They're organising the first kind of Portugal versus Spain GAA one in a couple of weeks, which I was invited to. But myself and my wife are expecting a baby in March, so we've got scans and stuff coming up. So yeah, so won't make those, but I'll get out at some point, hopefully. So
did you get a little baby Japan GAA jersey?
Yeah, well, if there's one knocking about, I'll give you a few pounds for it. Yeah, if I can find them on O'Neill's or wherever. So yeah, and then for the quickfire questions, well, I say they're quickfire, they're not really. No one has ever answered them in rapid time. You can take your time on them, but
challenge here.
Every GAA club in the world has to have a stereotypical kind of Irish tough nut on the pitch who's likely to throw a slap or get sent off. Is there one in Japan? Doesn't have to be an Irish person either. A lot of clubs have now decided it's not the Irish person on the team or Irish people.
We had one lad a couple of years ago that was here, Ryan, who he ended up winning the Fair Play Award after, I'd say, a few unfair tackles on the pitch.
Right.
The best I've ever seen in my life. Him winning that award, like we thought it was a fix.
He's absolutely phenomenal. He's quite small.
He's an amazing
half
player.
Japanese. He's a dual player. He's absolutely brilliant footballer. He helped us win it, like he definitely did. But he was, I don't know, can we swear on this podcast?
Oh, yeah, whatever you want to.
What was the thing he said? There was
you grey-haired fucker.
Oh, there was a guy playing and he just goes, you grey-haired wanker or something. And it was in the moment, it was just one of the funniest things ever. Like, but yeah, he was absolutely brilliant. He was an absolute nutter. There's a few other lads I think that would probably, in terms of getting off, would be Mikey Williams is a guy from Belfast, never played GAA to come out here, but he loves to get stuck in. Bit of another pitch as well. And then we've just a few other people that are knackers, like from Tipperary and
all those counties out there. Yeah, that's quite the obscure insult to throw in as well.
15 people for that position, to be honest. But
yeah,
not anyone.
Yeah, the grey-haired wanker one is an obscure insult, isn't it?
Yeah, it was better than that. I actually can't remember. I can't remember the actual quote or what he said. It was so good, and in the moment, it was brilliant. Yeah, he started a full-on.
It was right beside the sideline, so everyone, all the supporters, all the subs, could just hear it as well.
That's brilliant. Yeah,
he still went a bit grey. Like he's actually a sound lad. I think he plays for Thailand. He's a sound lad as well.
Okay. Is there one of the ladies' team Niamh as well, or?
I don't think so. The Japanese ladies are very polite, I must say.
As I expected.
That kind of stuff. Yeah, no, I'd say it'd be some of the Irish girls showing them up, to be honest. But
that's fair enough.
Probably the nicest people in the world. Like,
there'd be no dirty tackles there, I must say.
Yeah, I kind of expected that one, I suppose. Yeah. What about then, Niamh? I stay with you on the karaoke side. Is there a club karaoke song? Sorry, do you need to get the phone written?
There.
2 seconds. That's the eldest.
Yeah, go on then.
I don't know, do we have a karaoke song now? We play a lot of the Cranberries here, and I'm from Sligo, so I'll always be the first to stick on Westlife, I must admit.
That goes down well, yeah.
Actually, we have a Japan GAA song. I'm not sure if you've ever heard it.
No.
Mick Konstantin, you know Mick Konstantin?
Yeah.
He was out here with us for the World Cup and ended up staying for a good while. So he wrote us a song before he left.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you find it online or anywhere?
Yeah, if you check YouTube, you'd find it.
Actually, no, not yet. I've been meaning to release this, not release as in release like a fucking recording artist.
World exclusive.
Yeah, we've been holding off because of the 25th anniversary to run a few events or maybe a competition, but obviously not going to happen. But yeah, I'm going to get it posted over the next probably few weeks. I'll let you know, and I'll obviously contact Mick as well. He's obviously give us permission. He's a great guy. He actually, one of his things he does is like personalized songs. He does obviously like Tyson Fury, Conor McGregor, all those. Yep. He wrote this song for us in the bus somewhere traveling between cities in Japan in about 20 minutes. Like, it's really impressive.
It's amazing.
That's bad. I'll have to promote that when it comes out, and by the time this records, or just by the time this streams, I should say, you'll probably have it well up at this stage.
Definitely.
I think just because I'm doing all the recording just with the baby and stuff coming in March, so I think you guys are the first or second one right after the new year. So you hopefully won't have too long to wait. Some clubs might have to wait a little bit longer, but okay. So Westlife for karaoke. Are you part, either of you, of the Marty Party or the Des Cahill fan club?
No.
Marty. Has to be Marty.
Okay. I'll take Marty. So for Des, I have to stop this question because Des is just getting hammered. So.
No, have we ever been picked? I've listened to a few episodes, but I haven't heard him picked in a while.
he has been picked, yeah, but it's a very small amount compared to some of the others. I suppose then you probably answered this already, but the toughest team you've come up against, Singapore, is that your?
I'd say Korea for the girls anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. It's toss up Singapore, Seoul, and
Hong Kong were very strong.
Hong Kong, some brilliant players, like county players are absolutely their A team is brilliant. Okay. Just it fluctuates between year to year. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Any Westmeath people at the club?
I think so.
God, if there is, it's embarrassing. I don't
know. I hope there's not. I don't think so.
That's fine. We tend to blend into the background. I know we just don't even admit we're from Westmeath sometimes, so it's fine.
I think our club is about 90% Cork at the moment.
Yeah, we've got a lot of Cork lads.
You need to fix that. That's not the way to run a club.
Stop. Don't.
Yeah.
It's become normal now.
Yeah, that's interesting because I had the Kerry Middle East crowd on the other night, and they were like, we don't have any Cork recruits in our club because they won't come into a club that has a Kerry symbol in the logo. So you're the opposite then. That's where all the Cork people are, I can tell them. Are you?
Then is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Are you a short pass or drive it long team?
Oh, the girls are all hand passing now. There's no kick passing in Japan GAA, ladies.
All right. Okay.
The tactic that came up was before I joined the club.
All right. Okay. Long-term tactics, so keep it short. And what about for the men then, Chris?
I'd say drive along, or we always seem to have a few people who are they think they're a bit of a star, quite selfish, so they even getting the ball off them would be tricky, you know.
Okay, that's not the first time that's come up either. Some clubs have said, we actually need to pass it at all.
Yeah, mixture of both. But obviously it's different out here as well. It's 9-a-side, shorter position. Obviously it's, but I mean, you're playing in ridiculous heat as well. So often once you've played a game, that usually changes. The lads realise they're just not fit enough for it. It's a very different game, like it's totally different.
Fair enough, sounds good. Chris, hats, flags, scarves or headbands, the famous GAA choice outside Croke Park. Which one are you picking?
I'm going to say headbands because I feel like everyone answers hats to this question. I don't know why.
I've had a good mix lately of a few people who pick flags and wave them in your face. I think need to go to hell basically. But Niamh, what about you then?
I used to love, do you know the little braids that used to tie into your hair? You have your colours,
Just change the question.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's for first person has gone for option 5, which is the hair braids.
Do you remember the fog horns as well? Or what they were? You like.
Oh God, yeah.
They're always right behind you as well.
Okay, so the Niamh option 5 and 6, which is the hair braids and the vuvuzela type yokes that we had years ago. Okay, we'll put you in for those. Have you managed, or what's it like trying to introduce Father Ted to the Japanese community? How would that go down?
I always think about this, but one of the main quotes I remember from that show is "hairy Japanese bastards."
That's right. So yeah.
I don't really want to get them to watch too much. I can't remember what that quote was. The rabbit episode or something.
The rabbit. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There's so much in the club that is lost in translation. It's comical, like, and one, it's obviously a language barrier. Two, the Japanese are just so nice, and sometimes you would try maybe once, twice, and then you just give up. You just sort of nod. A lot of the time stuff is lost in translation. You just have to let it go.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you mentioned the hairy Japanese bastards thing, because I was wondering when I said it, I was like, oh yeah, wait, now I just remembered that. So
the Japanese people who's going to listen to this episode, I kind of wish I hadn't said that.
That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, it's not a negative thing. It was just a weird quote that he brought out in that episode. I'm not sure
Yeah.
why.
Well, it's now, father.
Oh yeah, and he's also a rapist.
Yeah, there's a lot of father Ted stuff that probably doesn't go out too well in Japan. So, yeah. What about then a slightly tricky one, but your favorite GAA player of all time in your lifetime?
Is there any famous Sligo footballers?
There is. Is it Eamon O'Hara who won the All-Star? Yeah, I think he's the only Sligo player to win an All-Star. Or James Kelly, he's a great full forward.
San Antonio GAA's representative was Adrian Brett, who was one of the great Sligo players as well.
Oh yeah.
So you've had a few, definitely. So you're going with Eamon O'Hara then, is it?
Eamon O'Hara, yeah.
Okay, and great Derry players. Chrissy McCaig was one of my first ever guests on the podcast, which was
I listened to that episode actually. Chrissy spoke really well. Yeah,
sound guy. Who are you going for, Chris?
I don't know, to be honest. I do think David Clifford at the minute is probably going to be one of the best of all time. He's just freakishly good. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
Then also in terms of Derry, clubman Paddy Bradley was brilliant. He was just phenomenal, and always a big fan of Sean Murray Lockhart as well.
Oh yeah,
he's a phenomenal defender.
Yeah.
So off the head, they would sort of be the ones I would think. But yeah, I think Clifford is just something else. He's brilliant.
The Bradleys put Westmeath to the sword back in 2004. I remember when we got to see All-Ireland quarterfinals for the one and only time ever. It was so Bradleys did the damage against us in Croke Park. Yeah, that day. I can't remember which of them it was. Scored an absolute ripper of a goal.
Yeah, I think it was Skinner scored a goal that day. I think it was a one. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was at that game. Yeah, my dad's.
Yeah, I'd high hopes for Westmeath that year, and Derry ruined it, so I haven't forgiven them for that. And then a few of the Japanese ones, these are literally 50-50 ones, but Niamh, Tokyo or Sligo?
Oh, I'm going to have to go for Sligo.
Oh, Sligo. Lovely.
Yeah.
Chris?
No, Nami Hodas, no.
Tokyo or Derry then, Chris?
That's a tough one. I'd probably have to go Derry as well. More crack than Tokyo.
The home guys, fair enough. Pokemon or Pac-Man, Niamh?
Oh, Pokemon.
And Chris?
Pac-Man.
Ooh, interesting.
I haven't played either.
Sushi or stew?
It's definitely stew.
Yeah, I'd have to go for stew.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd probably nearly go for sushi at this stage. I've eaten so much of it. So, okay. The bullet train or the Erin Road Éireann train?
I don't even know what the second one is. I'm from the north, but
talking about the old orange Irish trains that used to exist years and years ago.
Great job. Yeah, I'd have to go for the bullet train myself.
Yeah, shocking. Yeah, shockingly. I wonder why. Mt Fuji or Croke Park?
Oh.
Can I just jump in there?
Yeah.
A couple of the girls here actually tried to climb Fuji a couple of weeks ago, just before the season closed.
Twice we tried.
Had an absolute nightmare getting there, disaster. Got there, then basically were told no, the road was closed. They had to turn and come back. Oh. 2 days later, they got a bus stop. They tried again. They got to one of the first huts, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, no, have you got a reservation for the huts?" And he was like, "No, you can't get up." So twice in the space of 4 days, was it?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Croke Park.
They tried to get up
at
there.
At least I've climbed Croke Park. I've got to the top of that mountain at least.
Okay, I didn't even see Mount Fuji in the distance. We went to somewhere to view it, and it was just so cloudy you couldn't actually see it. So
very hard to get that right.
The pictures are nice anyway. Japanese tea or a good Irish cup of tea?
Irish tea.
Absolutely hate tea.
Okay, do you have the bubble tea out there?
I've never tried it actually.
That's more like I think Taiwan and Hong Kong
and South Korea. Yeah. It's popular enough here, but no, I haven't tried it. No,
we can actually get berries out here. We're pretty lucky. Yeah, we can get berries.
Oh, nice. That's good. There's a shop here in Mullingar that's an Asian shop that started selling bubble tea, and it's quite popular. So, I have to try it. In Mullingar, yeah, we're very cultured down here. I will have you know, most of the time. Shinji Kagawa or Paddy Bradley?
Who's the first one? I don't even know who that is. Sorry.
Shinji Kagawa, one of the great Japanese soccer players. Man United star for years as well.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'll have to go with Paddy. Then he's from up the road.
But yeah, I presume Niamh, you go with Eamon O'Hara over Shinji Kagawa as well.
I would, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Takeshi's Castle or Ireland's Fittest Family?
Oh, Takeshi's Castle.
Definitely Takeshi's Castle.
Greatest program ever made. not shown enough on telly. Where's the last one? Oh yeah, the trickiest one is the hardest one out of them all. Niamh, Mario or Luigi?
Mario.
Chris?
I'll have to go Luigi then.
Oh, okay. Had to be diplomatic about it. Where can people find the Japanese GAA gear who are interested in buying it?
The easiest way, if they're in Japan, message the club. But if they're in Ireland or anywhere else, go straight onto the O'Neill's website and you can get everything there.
Yeah, we've their own. Same as most clubs have our own club shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And GAA, yeah.
Perfect. And then anyone you want to give a shout out to around the world or back home?
No, but just one thing I forgot to mention was actually because of the anniversary this year and we've had no competitive games, a few of the guys actually joined forces with one of the Japanese AFL. They have a league here.
Yeah.
So we've actually it's called the Japan GAA Wolfhounds. And we've actually got our first competitive game on Sunday. Obviously, this won't be out till January, but next week. So we've created a team there. There's about maybe about half Japanese or half Irish, a few Japanese lads, and the rest are Aussie. So we've actually created a team for that, and that'll be starting next week. So shout out to the Wolfhounds. Hopefully, we can win next weekend.
That's deadly. Is there anyone else you want to give a shout out to at home or anything? Or? No, affect a lot of them, to be granted.
No, yeah. Don't want to sell it.
I have to. Are you guys in the office or where are you?
No, we're in my apartment.
How high up is that building?
I was trying to set up so you can see Rainbow Bridge in the background, but man, it's the weather's.
I can see it in the corner. Yeah.
You can see it there. Niamh is a class view from her apartment. She lives in the sticks, but it's a nice view.
What floor are you on?
33rd.
33rd, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I was put on the 34th floor in the hotel in Qatar and I nearly had a heart attack. I hate heights. I don't know how you do that. I'd have those.
There and you like heights?
Yeah, no, not at all. I'd have those, if there was curtains on that, I'd have them pulled permanently. They'd never see the light of day outside. So I wouldn't want to know how high up I was. I'm kind of getting anxiety looking at you. Yeah, when you came out I was like, wow, that looks pretty far in the background. Then I was like, how high up are they? And I was like, I won't ask because I'll just get anxiety by asking and finding out the numbers. So, how high is the building out of interest? What's the top?
47, I think. 48.
I don't want to know that. That's fine.
There was an earthquake last week, which was
we had a really big one.
Good. Yeah, that's really helpful.
It was actually terrifying. Like it's always we few jolts, but this one was fucking
proper
massive.
Like swaying.
Yeah, really?
No, it was the biggest one in 10 years. They said it was terrifying.
Is that helping your anxiety to come back to Japan? Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah. Were you on the ground or were you in the apartment or where?
No, I was in my 33rd floor apartment.
Just went to bed. It was about 11 at night and it kicked off. I was only about 30-second tremor, but it was massive.
Okay, it was 30 seconds or 3 seconds. That doesn't bother me at all. It's bad enough that I had to go up that high. Yeah, even in Osaka, I think it was on the 14th floor in the Valley Hotel or whatever it was. And even then I was kind of like, yeah, I'm okay. I don't need to look out the window here. It's fine. And yeah. So even my school is 3 stories and there's times when I look out going, God, yeah, I wouldn't go much higher than this now. So yeah, okay. I'll leave you in the 33rd floor. And guys, just say big thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. And I'll keep in touch. And if you have any good pictures of the club or anything you want to use for the YouTube video, send them on. I've kind of probably robbed a load of them already off Instagram and all those places. So, but if there's any more, feel free, and I'll keep in touch. And thanks so much, and enjoy your night.
Perfect.
Thanks a lot. Best luck from as well, Jason. Thanks a lot.
Lovely. Yeah, talk to you guys again soon. Good luck, Sloan.
Bye bye.
Coming up the next day on the Loaf of Bread GAA Global, we cut into our next slice.
It's really, really good to see the development come up within Asia, because you had the traditional teams like Seoul, Singapore, Hong Kong, the China teams, but then the newer ones and then the stronger, Hanoi, the VHLs in Hanoi, the smaller but not weaker, just smaller.
Yeah.
And Saigon, and then they got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you had new clubs like Johor Bahru in Malaysia and Cambodia, and then you now have like Mt Fuji and Ho Chi Minh.
Ho Chi Minh,
yeah, Suzhou, Shenzhen, Shunde lads in China. You have all these teams popping up all over the place. In Indonesia, the India lads, coming on strong. The lads in Manila. I mean, there's so many to say, and just seeing the growth and seeing all that stuff. And like I say, I have a jersey collection to go along with it. So
on Slice 49, the journey in Asia continues as I chat to Asian County Board and Seoul GAA man Joe Trolan to find out the crack in Asia and South Korea. We chat all about soccer scholarships from Coleraine FC to the USA, time with Atlanta GAA in the States, discos in Schlottneil and Derry in the 90s, sleeping outside the pub in Philadelphia, rivalries at Busan and Daegu GAA, his AGM hiccups, army base training, Jack McCaffrey and Paul Mannion out in Seoul, hurling with Derry, Asian game wins, the club karaoke song, and who did Joe pick between Korean soccer star Heung-min Son and Dungiven GAA man Joe Brolly? That and much more in a wonderful chat with the gentleman himself. That's next Thursday from 9 a.m. as we continue the journey with 2 slices a week.
You're
what I want. That's what I want. I want the jersey collection. Yeah. I'll see you at the arrivals hall, but until then, check out the various clubs on the Instagram page and see all the amazing work they do and some of the nicest GAA gear going. Find the podcast on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on TikTok. Email loafofbreadpod@gmail.com. or just simply hit the follow button and spread the word of the Loaf of Bread GAA pod across the globe. Slánagi.